Welcome to the Currying Up podcast with Nicole and Ashley, and today we are getting into the best man final chapters, or should we say the worst man, the worst men, the worst woman? I don't know.
I agree with a lot of the reviews that I have seen or read or listened to, which is that the first two episodes feel like a movie
Mm-hmm.
and the remainder of the season feel like
The
television
show.
shows that were tacked on. I came to the series really loving the original Best Man film. I did not watch The Best Man Holiday because I didn't see it when it first came out in theaters. And I heard about it and I heard it was very sad.
Mm-hmm.
So I just refused to watch it because I just didn't feel like dealing with that. And I know it's unfair to expect certain films to provide a certain feeling, but when I think about The Best Man, I don't expect sadness. So I just didn't want to deal with it. And so I decided when I knew when The Best Man, the final chapters dropped, I said, let me hurry up, watch The Best Man Holiday.
Mm.
And I was right not to watch it before. I did not like the film. It wasn't trauma porn necessarily, but I just felt like it was kind of like a little one note. It was just like all sadness and then some humor sprinkled throughout. So I guess it wasn't necessarily one note, but I was just like the sadness was just overpowering the film.
Yeah, I watched The Best Man Holiday into 2013 at the movie theaters, and I just remember it being sad and crying, and I don't want to revisit it again.
Yeah.
I just don't want to. like,
And you know what? You ain't got to.
I don't even remember like the whole storyline. Like, I'm trying to like fill in the gaps with the timeline with this series, and I love how they did it. You're right. The first two episodes, when you said it was kind of a movie because it picked up in 2015.
Hmm.
So The Best Man was in 1999. The Best Man Holiday was 2013. And so when the movie starts, we're in 2015. And then episode 3, um, they do the montage of like I guess travel through time,
Hmm.
or showing how time they speed up time pretty much. And we land in July 2021. So you're right. It's like the first two episodes is like 2015, a movie, and then we skip to July 2021 for the rest of the episodes.
Yeah. I think I'm just holding on to the first film and just the aesthetics of it. I really loved the the grittiness
How
of the
how it was shot.
yeah, I like the earth tones. There was a lot of that. It felt very like the colors felt rich to me.
Yeah.
If there was a red, it was a deep red. Here the show, like, it was just very like everything was like bright. People's houses were just bright, and I
Nia
like this wasn't
Long
what I'm used to.
Nia Long mentioned, and some interview, I can't remember what, but I think she was being asked about why people hold on to Love Jones. And one of the reasons that she thought is because it was shot on film, and now we're in like this digital era.
Hmm.
And I believe when we watch the first Best Man, it's film. So you're kind of like, it's a different medium in a
Hmm.
way. So it feels different, it looks different. The colors are going to be different because it's not digital. And so now when everything is, we're using these digital cameras and technology and everything else, it doesn't have the same grittiness because it's a whole different technology.
I get that. I get that. I still think that there are things that you can do to capture a smoldering sexiness that the first film had. Like when I think about, and I mean, I don't know how they, it's
Yeah,
all jokes. I'm missing like the steaminess
they
of
wasn't
it.
that wasn't what this show was about. It was about these like real grown up relationships. That's what I got from it. This not after college and we're in love and wanting to be married and all happy. This is like, oh, we in this now. But I will
Yeah.
say, I do like for this to be the third one. I loved it. I was very surprised. Hold on. Because normally when you have like we always say the sequel is never good as the first one. And the third one, it's like just forget it. They just, when people do like a third installment, it's like y'all just trying to get a money bag. But I think this one was really good. Like I enjoyed it. I didn't feel like it was something cheap or just thrown together just because
Mhm.
people want to see where the characters are. I feel like they took their time to like develop the story and the characters and the children. I liked how everything was put together. I think it was well done.
I disagree slightly.
Oh my goodness. Why?
I loved it. I
Okay.
loved it. I can watch it again. I also love seeing a lot of black people on film and you don't have like token whites just
Mhm.
because. I I enjoyed it. I don't think that there was a lot of time dedicated to character development or to the script. Some of the storylines felt a little ready-made, like
Mm.
LJ and his gender identity. It felt like we're just taking headlines and putting them right into
Yeah.
the story. Jordan and her not taking care of her physical health because her career trumps everything. I feel like that's ready made. Um,
Yeah, a lot of this was I mean, it's a lot of headlines, a lot of what's in the news or in discussion about
mhm.
adults. So yeah, I get that. Very topical information, very I mean, but in a
Right.
way it is very it's relevant.
It's relevant, but I think it's also,
It was too much.
I don't think it was too much. It feels like, and I've said this before, and I've heard the same critique be given to the Best Man final chapter. It feels like the reboot of Sex in the City, and the And Just Like That series on HBO Max, where it feels like, all right, we're about to throw in a genderqueer character. We don't have
Yeah.
any people of color, so every main character has to have a supporting character who is a person of color. Let's throw it in there. But there, I don't think that there's any deep dive into, like, there's no, I'm not learning anything new
No.
about gender queerness. I'm not.
No.
And so I'm like, who is this for? Is this for people who've never heard about gender queerness? Is this for people who don't and I mean, I think what people find attractive about the Best Man is that you know them or you want to know them. I want to know somebody who's like an exec at MSNBC. I want to
Mhm.
know somebody who's an ex football player. I want to know somebody who's a best selling author. I want to know somebody who owns a chain of hotels and who is from like this really, important family. So I'm just thinking that if we've made it, not if we've made it, but if we have all this type of access, surely we have some access to some to some like New York Times articles or some like to like some like where we know what like gender queerness is, and it's not like it's not quickly touched on, and it's not like a sample story. You know, even with merch and the
Him
young
finding
lady
himself.
who
Oh,
tries to steal the cab,
oh yeah.
and I'm
It's
like,
straight from the headlines. Yeah, this is very. I just felt like this was everything was just reflective of. I guess they wanted to reflect the times that we live in. I wasn't looking at this as showing me something I didn't know. Even with, I felt that with the first episode where they were doing when Nicole Ari Parker's character had the sage and they were doing ashwagandha. I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're just putting in everything trendy. Like that's when I
yes.
was like, oh, we're just doing trends. But okay, yeah, everyone has sage. Let's do ashwagandha. Let's, whatever.
How adorable that we see Nicole Ari Parker and Sanaa Lathan and Tay Diggs together again after Brown
Yes,
Sugar.
throwback. I will say this I don't know, series is very typical Gen X
Okay.
because remember, I think we discussed this before, how when you look at shows in like the 90s and the early 2000s, everybody had these amazing careers. They were doctors and
Yep.
lawyers, and it's like every single person is like, I'm an author, I'm getting my PhD, I an entrepreneur, I'm have my taking over my father's hotel, but like everybody
Hmm.
is accomplished. And it's like when you look at shows about millennials, well, shows written, you can tell when the show is actually written by millennials for millennials. It's like we still out here trying to figure it out.
I hustling. We drive and lift. Right?
Exactly.
Figuring it out, Jesus.
But all these like shows that feature Gen X, it's like I don't know how they were all accomplished by 28. It's like, okay, not I can't relate, but sure.
Yeah.
One day.
But I think that also the Best Man, the series, show the dangers of that, because we have Lance who feels like he doesn't have a purpose. We have
Yeah.
Jordan who is not taking her health into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
We have Harper who, in the words of Robin, is like constantly chasing after this elusive better life,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I think it does show the dangers of that. Like, you're gonna look up and be 50 and
And
you don't know what you want out of life, or you're
yeah.
trying to weigh out your options. I mean, Jordan, it's quick, but like Jordan has that, I won't even call it a pregnancy scare, but she's thinking she's pregnant, turns out she's not, and she's like, oh man, like I feel like that was my chance. It's like, I would have loved to see a little bit more of that, like just a
Yeah.
little bit more of that. But perhaps that storyline has been done to death. I don't know. But
I don't really see a lot of storylines of pregnancy and older women. I would love to. I've always like wanted to see. There needs to be a show called like 42 and Pregnant, just like they had 16 and Pregnant. Because no,
yes,
because it be
pitch
affecting like
it,
the
pitch the
women,
show.
the women I've met in real life who got pregnant later, like in their 40s, they
Hmm.
was shook. It wasn't like, oh, there was like
Shit.
the frick. Like, no, like they told me they thought they was good. They thought
Nope.
they ain't had to worry about nothing. They was like, all right,
But you
cool.
do.
I'm in my 40s. Let's get it popping. And then pregnant, like, wow. Wow. Like, I would love to see more of that.
And now you're 50 with a 10-year-old.
Exactly. What else?
How did you feel about the show constantly flirting with the idea of Harper and Jordan being together?
It kind of seemed like Okay, so I heard one review one review talking about how Harper was trash because he knew he never wanted to marry Robin. That
Harper is trash.
that
I
he
don't know if that's the reason why, but Harper is a dumpster.
that he if he knew like he knew he been wanting Jordan, like why we playing games? And so I mean that's the girl he wanted. It seems like Robin was just there. Even the proposal back to the first best man
Ugh,
when he proposed to Robin at the wedding reception.
ugh.
He didn't have no ring. It was just kind of like off the cuff, and
Bruised eye
who knows why.
from
I
when your
mean,
best friend punched you in the face for sleeping with his woman.
I guess he was just
This is the
super
day after
emotional.
you was trying to sleep with Jordan, but okay.
Yeah, so he just wants to propose to Robin, and she says yes, and I guess they end up really married. So it's like, I mean, the whole relationship was kind of, I don't know, just flaky, I guess. I mean, but I don't know.
I don't mind him being confused. I think it's completely possible that you could be in love with two people at the same time. I think it's possible to not understand the limits of friendship and romantic encountering. I think it's completely fine that you have a desire to keep Jordan in your friend group. All of this is completely fine. But I think that there are decisions that one can make that feel easy to me and that would respect Robin and that would respect Jordan. After the premiere of your film, don't be going on late night strolls with Jordan. Don't be going back to her house, opening up fucking, I don't know what the fuck that was, Easter eggs and shit about messages. Don't do romantic shit.
I mean, but
While
by
we're
that time, Robin was already pissed at him multiple times. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
mean, don't
it never seemed like Harper and Robin were ever on the same page.
no.
They was just married. That's it. They were just married. And Harper was trying to live his life. Robin had her own dreams that she was trying to, include Harper in, and he kind of dismissed her really.
I
Harper was
don't
just stuck on what he wanted to do.
I don't think that either of them were invested in compromise at all. It seemed like Robin said, "Okay, I'm going to take a back seat and we're going to focus on you and you
Mhm.
building your career. And I'm going to do my own thing on the side, but ultimately, we're going to do what you want to do." And then after a few years, now it's my turn. Now you take a back seat and you focus on me. I don't think that that was ever something that Harper
Oh
was
no.
like agreed to.
No.
I just don't think that's healthy. I think it's like, no, we have to come up with a compromise with how we both can be fulfilled at the same time, because this, and sometimes that doesn't work. Maybe I'm being naive about that, but I think that what they were doing sure as fuck didn't work. I think that there are a lot of expectations that Robin has of Harper. And I mean, I think they say this explicitly in the in the show. You have these expectations, but you don't say them out loud to Harper at all. So
Mhm.
what are we doing here? I think the film, in order for me, and I know we're juggling a lot. We're juggling a lot of characters, but I wish that the focus wasn't on Harper so much
His
and we
movie.
could get some of Robin's life. Now maybe
Yeah.
Robin's life is her job. and this dude at the motherfucking mushroom stand who she crushing on. But I'm like, what else? What? Where are her friends? Where are her
Yeah, we don't
friends?
see Robin's friends.
Where your friends at? Where your friends? Who talking cash shit about Harper? I know they talking cash shit about that nigga. Where they at?
Even like she ain't got no sister. She got a mama, but she ain't talking to. The only time she called her mama to babysit Mia. But yeah, because she doesn't. You can and these episodes you can tell like she's not really in the groove with the other women. Like she's definitely not friends with
No.
Jordan. That's not gonna happen.
No.
Shelby, not so much. Candace, a little bit, but it's like she just kind of like talks to them because that's her husband's friend group.
I also don't appreciate Candace's wig.
I hated all of them.
I
All
think
of
that the
them.
budget could have went to better wigs for all of them, but at least Jordan, I could see the leave out. I could see the leave out, and I'm like, we can't get the real. We can't get lace. We for real. We doing leave. So, but at least with Jordan and Robin,
Their hair
the
looked fine.
it
It was
was
just
fine. With
Candace's
Candace,
hair distracted me. Her hair distracted me.
yes. And I'm like, is she supposed to look disheveled because she's in school and she can't handle the pressures of this PhD program and her life as a wife and mother? That's fine, but I ain't getting that. And it's just like, what the fuck is up with this wig, with this it looked like it came in a plastic bag. It came in a plastic bag. It's $39.99.
Girl, there's better wigs for $20 on Amazon. I would have preferred her just have them simple headband wigs because the
I
front was
would have,
killing me. Just get
yeah,
you a simple headband wig that you can just put on.
and I don't like that it was the girl with the natural hair who had the fucked up wig.
Exactly.
Yo, I would have rather y'all gave her an afro wig like that girl off Harlem.
Mhm.
Just give her a big ass afro so she ain't got to worry about no leave out, and she's stunning. Like, just do that. But
Mhm.
y'all gave her. But I'm wondering, like, who was on hair? What was the budget? Because y'all not about to sit up here and talk shit about Tyler Perry, but not about these wigs here.
But what was the reason? Because hers was the only one that was like visibly bad. Like I can stand the other one, that the other women. They weren't perfect, but they were okay. Hers was just bad.
And it never got better.
No,
It never got better. And I don't know why. Because it didn't add anything to her character. Like, because
no.
there are moments in the film where I'm like, okay, the stress of everything is just getting to her, so that's gonna reflect on her in her appearance. I'm fine with that. But like the New Year's Eve party,
I know when you're supposed to be dressed up.
when they go to the wedding,
Mhm.
I'm like, girl, you would have had some braids because I
Exactly.
know y'all about to get in the water. You would have had some braids. What the fuck going on? Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone.
I did like Shelby's platinum wig though.
Again, the girls with the relaxed hair, they wigs was fine. I don't appreciate it.
Um,
I vote Kennedy off the island. Speaking of Shelby,
why?
I don't like that mean girl shit. I can't deal. I also think that this was a missed opportunity to talk about colorism, to talk about light skin privilege, because Candace and Murch's daughters were so worried about what Kennedy and LJ would say about
Oh,
them
yeah,
and
that is
how they
true.
look. And I'm like, so we not about to have a conversation. Okay, we not. Okay, cool. But I don't like this mean girl shit. And it's never corrected, but I mean this is Shelby's daughter, but there is supposed to be this. I feel like we're supposed to like Shelby now.
I like
And I
Shelby.
do. I like Shelby. But this daughter, no ma'am.
She was
She
definitely
don't have to come
spoiled.
back
She
for
was
me.
she was definitely spoiled.
I don't ever need to see her. I don't need to see it. And where the fuck is Lance's children?
Girl, cause I forgot about them other kids. It was
The
just
nigga had
LJ.
four. The nigga had four. So all I get is LJ and the light skinned daughter. What the other daughter and the other son? I don't
I have
understand.
no idea. I was done. I remember in the Best Man Holiday, them kids, like all of them were biracial. I'm like, how? How?
I was like, were they adopted?
I was so confused. Yeah, I couldn't find no brown skin kids.
Well, I remember LJ being a I remember they had
Yeah.
like two dark skinned kids and two light skinned kids.
No, but they
And
was
I was
beyond
like,
light skin. Them they had like
yeah, I was
the
like,
sandy brown hair. Like when you start, like I get okay, dark features, dark hair, dark features. The sandy brown hair, I'm like, come on now.
I didn't understand what was going on. But I said, you know what? Let me mind my motherfucking business. But don't expect me to believe none of this shit.
Mm-mm.
And also the fact that they joke about everything, that would have been a joke. That would have been a joke. Like, where do these two light skinned kids come from? Who
Mm-hmm.
the daddy? What's going on? That would have been a joke. But when I watched the second film, I did wonder, like, who is Kennedy's father? But okay, I guess we don't. Okay, like what? Hey, it's all right. But I don't understand. It felt like we were being asked to suspend logic and assume that these people were actually in love. And
But
I'm
were
okay with
they in
that.
love or they
I
just
look. I
was it
guess
love? Or they just kind of just got just hooked
I
up
think
with each other and
there
stayed
was.
together.
I think that there was an obsession that they had with each other, and this is, I feel like, is a cool storyline that I would have loved to see these two go down. I remember Viola Davis was saying something. It was, I'm gonna fuck it up, but she was saying you gotta like know how to be in the everyday with the person. If you are only addicted to like the highs of a
Yeah.
relationship, the marriage ain't gonna work out for your ass. Like you keep so I think that that's what I'm used to with Q and Shelby. Like it feels very passionate. And if all you got is passion, will the marriage last? Because like passion kind of runs out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta refuel that shit. It's like you really have to love the regular degular schmegular, shit with a motherfucker. And um I don't think that we see them kind of deal with that. It's just like after the passion runs out, or maybe the passion just hasn't run out. Um, I don't know. I wish that maybe we could have seen them bump up into that, like, oh, this isn't a fling. This
Yeah,
isn't
like
a
why are
this
we
isn't a,
together? Like,
this isn't a thing that we're hiding anymore. So now it's just boring. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, there's I don't know. I don't know where their love story comes from.
I
I
don't
don't
either.
get it, but it was one of the things where it's like I'm willing to accept this. It's
Yeah.
fine. I am willing to accept this. I am not willing to accept the fact that Shelby would have kept her daughter's paternity from her daughter,
I can see
from
that.
the friend group. Like, did Jordan know?
I can see from the daughter. I think somebody in the friend group, at least one, maybe Jordan, she would have told Jordan.
Because that's the secret that I feel like would have been the split. You know, like, Jordan, you knew this girl was my daughter this whole time. You didn't tell me. I'm not able to
Oh
be a father.
yeah.
Not the secret about Lance's gender
Oh
gender
yeah.
identity.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand why she's like, that's not my place to tell you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I just didn't. And also just this relationship between Shelby and Jordan felt like I had to suspend my logic to know that they're really good friends. That happened in
Because
the second film. I'm like, oh, I understand that Shelby and Mia are sorority sisters, but how are Shelby
in
and
Jordan,
Jordan connected? Is it just through Mia? I mean, that's fine, but maybe a significant friendship grew after the death of Mia, but I was like,
because in the
child,
first movie, I didn't see Shelby as anybody's friend.
nobody.
We didn't talk about Candace and Julian. Was Julian being unreasonable in their relationship?
Julian is merch.
Yeah.
I found myself siding with Julian a lot.
Oh,
I thought that Candace was being a bit unreasonable.
really? In what way?
I thought Candace was kind of being like Harper.
Oh,
Like, Merch has things that he wants to do too. Like, I get it. You're trying to get a PhD, but like, hey, I'm here. I'm still here. Like, I'm a person with needs. I have shit to do. And it's, I mean, let's go back to that scene where she has to all of a sudden meet her advisor late
mm-hmm.
at night, but Julian has to go out. He wanted to go out
To
to his
his
match, or
rest,
like to
yeah.
his, but
They
but
needed
he had to
someone to
pick
get the
up.
girls. That
Yeah,
okay? Maybe I'm always going to side with the mother on this one because all that stuff always falls on the mom.
but it
It's
hasn't been
like
falling on the mom. It's been falling on him.
no, but
He's the
that
one
was but
getting.
that but he but in the show, everything was like she had to ask him to pick the girls. Can you get the girls? Or the girls had this. Even in one of the early episodes, when one of the girls was like, "Well, who's going to take me to get my stuff for my project? Or who's going to do this?" And it's like your daddy is right there. Like it shouldn't always default to Candace. Default to your daddy. And
I
so
don't
with
think
her,
it was. I think it was defaulting to him.
I don't think so.
He was the one constantly getting the girls ready for school. He was the one. I mean, I think that it didn't make sense to me that the girl said, "Hey mom, are you still able to help me with this?" It seemed like that wasn't about defaulting to her. That was maybe about her wanting to spend time with her mom because she's been gone all the time. Because if this dad has been doing everything because you've been busy at school, which is fine, why are you asking her? Like, you know your dad about to help you with this because your dad been helping you with this.
That's why I don't think
What
he
do we
was.
see?
Okay, so Lance was definitely grieving. He threw himself and a bunch of women. Um, how do you think his friends were supporting him? Like, how do you think they should have supported him? Like, could they have done more? Left him alone? Like, what did Lance need out of his friends?
I really think that Lance needed numbers to therapists. I really think like there are just some things you cannot help somebody through. If you are friends with an alcoholic, there's just certain things you cannot help, like,
True.
unless you are a licensed motherfucking therapist. It's like, get this man some fucking help. That's like, oh man, I have diabetes, and you come into Ashley like, what should I do? And I'm like, let's go on vacation, get your mind off. No, nigga, you need to go to a fucking doctor. There are certain things I just can't do. I can be like, hey, here's some healthy foods that I per the Google research, they said this is good. Cut this type of food out. But after a certain point, it's like you need like the proper medication, baby. Like you need a
Okay,
plan.
here's a question. Okay, Lance, his friends knew that he was like rotating a bunch of women around. As a friend, if you saw that in your friend and you knew it's because they're like grieving or there's something deeper, this is not their personality. Like you know, there's something more.
But
Would
that is
you?
his personality. Wasn't he
I
fucking
mean,
everything under the sun before he got married?
yeah, true. Okay, but would you go to your friend and be like, ask them like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? Like, would you question that, or would you just let them do them?
I would hope so, but I wouldn't want to police them. I just don't think that that's healthy, and I
No,
don't I don't
not
think it
police, but
works.
just ask them like, okay, I've
Oh,
seen
for
you got a new
sure.
man every week. Are we
For
okay?
sure. For sure, especially if y'all are held up in hotel rooms and he's talking about, I use protection every time, some of the time. 50% of the time, 45% of the time. Like I would be like, hey, we gotta work on something that's sustainable. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, and I think it's not necessarily the sex, it's just the obsessive behavior. So
Yeah.
if we saw him eating um out of control, it's like, he's eating like 5 cakes a day. It's like, hey, this isn't this might not be the healthiest thing. If we saw him um you know going to the gym 5 hours every day, I'm like, hey,
Like, what are you
what are you
doing?
using that for? Like, we need to go talk to somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
this vice that he's using is just kind of consuming him in a way. So it's not necessarily the sex, it's just you're not dealing with what you need to deal with.
But would you stop him from, I guess, hooking up with women?
I would probably try. Like, if people, if we're planning a birthday party and I really want to go to a strip club, I might say like, hey, let's not go to the strip club. Let's go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't. He a grown man. What can I do?
Yeah, true.
He's a grown man who's abusive. I really can't do much because
Yeah,
I want to protect my jaw.
he had a lot of anger management. He always did. He almost killed Harper.
Listen,
So Harper not gonna say nothing.
listen.
I think Q was the only person that probably could have gotten to him because he felt like Q was the most sensible friend, but Q wasn't gonna say nothing.
I think all of them. I am rewatching Sex in the City.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always rewatching it, but I just think that Carrie Bradshaw is one of the worst friends of television history. Like, next to Tony Childs and who else was a really bad friend? I don't know. It'll come to me. But I feel like Lance is up there.
A
Kinda,
bad friend.
sorta. It's like he's a polarizing friend. Like, he's either very caring. There are times where I'm like, Lance is really invested in Harper's relationship with Robin.
Mm-hmm.
He seems really invested in it. And other times it's just like, I don't care about anybody but me and my pain. I just it that just feels, I don't know. There's something like off-putting about him in
Hmm.
that way.
Maybe because he was used to being like the star. He was a star athlete in college. He was star athlete that he's used to everyone catering to him, that he never had to consider other people.
And it feels a little weird, right? Because in both films, you're made to cater to him because it's his wedding in the first film.
Yeah.
So of course everyone is gathering around you to celebrate you and your union. And in the second film, your wife is dying. And so
So
of
yep.
course we're gonna gather around you and kind of participate in your healing. And in the show, it's like, ain't nobody worried about Lance.
I know we got other things going on.
Like you're not the center of attention in the way you've been before.
mm, might be the problem. Um, Harper in this movie.
Child.
Did Harper, did he make the right decision, or should he just have not done this?
I don't, well, I think it was right to do the film. I think, because I'm thinking about merch here. After a while, there's only so much that you can do because the characters don't belong to you anymore. And the people who are making the film get to make the decisions.
Yeah,
So I feel like, what could he have done when it came to, I mean, maybe you could have put out a statement. Maybe you could have done that, but is that professionally smart?
like a
I think
statement
he was
saying what? Like,
a statement saying like, that's not how I envision merch, and that's not, he's not a pushover.
but then that's
And I
not
think
fair because you're supposed to be on. Like, you don't want to make a rift between you and your
that's
creative
why I said it's
team.
not
Yeah,
professionally smart. That's why it's not professionally smart to do that. But that could have been a possible statement that he made. But so that's why I'm like, he's there's not much that he can do.
hmm.
But maybe not make the film, like maybe, because once you
Yeah, he
do
didn't have to
that,
do the movie.
it doesn't belong to you anymore. It doesn't belong to you anymore. So what can you do? He
Harper
could
was.
have
Yeah, go
worn
ahead.
merch. He could have worn merch. He could have, maybe I would think that he could have talked to his agent like, well, what are the changes that they're making? And then tell merch like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what's going down. Here's, just be ready for that.
I think Harper should have been, even with the book, like those characters were way too close to home. Like we said, he made this book in the first film, and it only took 2.5 seconds for everyone to figure out who was supposed to be who. Like
Everybody,
he ain't have no imagination.
none.
He pretty much wrote a diary.
Yep.
So I wish, like, if he would have had a little bit more imagination and just said, okay, this character is based on my friends, but the situations are different or whatever, then he probably would have had it probably would have went over better with his friends. Like, okay, yeah, this we know this did not happen, but
Yeah.
whatever. But for
Yeah.
him, he the one who did play by play of everything that happened in college. It's like, boy, where's your imagination?
Where is that? Talk to me about where it is. Did you feel that Harper wanting to be a critically acclaimed writer had anything to do with the people making The Best Man?
Explain.
Sometimes I wonder, like, I feel like I watched the show like maybe 3 times. And on my third watch, I was like, does the filmmaker feel like I want to be taken seriously as it relates to making like art? I think
Mm.
that Malcolm Lee he's taken seriously in Hollywood. He's taken seriously as a director and a writer and a producer. Like, and I think that people know him, but I don't think when people hear his name, I don't think people think Oscar buzz. I don't think
Mm,
people think there's a difference when you think about like Spike Lee and when you
yeah,
think about Malcolm Lee. I think that Malcolm Lee's are always going to be like box office hits.
yeah,
People talk about Spike Lee like, yeah, he got hits, but also it's like there are films where you're like, what? We don't like it. But also I
yeah.
think that there's people talk about Spike Lee as if he is like an artist, you know?
True.
So I was wondering, I don't know. Like I have no evidence of this, but I am like, where is that coming from? Because this is a writer writing about a writer.
Yeah, it could be personal. Um, I guess that might be a struggle. A lot of creative space when because Harper had um top selling books, but he just wanted to. I guess they were a little bit shallow, and he wanted to
Yeah.
dig a little bit deeper.
You're doing book signings at Costco.
I know.
You're not going to do a book signing at the Strand or
Yeah,
at used bookstores or at museums. You're
yeah.
not doing that. You're not at the library. People are not having panels to discuss your book.
I
They're
mean, I
not.
guess it depends on what you want. Do you want to be Walmart and Target, or do you want to be the small boutique? I mean, both are good, but it's like, do
Yeah.
you want to be
And
the
you can be
organic
both.
boutique?
I think that's people know who Spike Lee is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people know who he is. And you can find, I mean, Kendrick just got a show. Octavia Butler is a very serious writer. I don't I
Oh, I
don't think
finished that.
I have not
You
started.
didn't? I thought you watched it already.
I'm trying to read the book. I'm trying to reread the book.
Oh,
But but yeah, so I think I don't know.
I
Like
guess
there's a
it depends on what you want. Harper seemed like he was struggling with, like Robin said, you always just want better. Better what? Like,
yeah.
what is better? Like, we live in a
Why do you think
great
Harper
home.
wanted that? Why do you think Harper
I
wanted
think he
that
was just
change?
caught up. I think a lot of people are caught up. They don't recognize when life is good. And I guess I think he's just searching for more. It's like, but what? What is the more? Like, we have a great life, we have a great home, we have a great kid and a great school. It's like, why? Why do we have to, like, why are we moving? And don't blame it on the schools. Like, that was like a whack excuse. You're not, you don't want to move all over here just for a better school, as if like the school she was at was so horrible.
Yeah. I think that like no one wants to be the joke. Like Tyler Perry says he doesn't care, but I'm sure like that stuff has
You think
got
he
to get to
cares?
him at some point. Like I think nobody wants to be the joke of the
Well, I
faculty.
guess it depends.
Whitehead.
Oh, I wanted to dig deeper. I mean, I guess he could, but I don't know. Maybe if he moved to Ghana with Robin, he would have
Child.
found
Robin
his
wanted to
roots.
live on that island, then she wanted to move to Ghana. I think that the shit she was giving Harper is like, baby, you kind of doing that too now. Like first you want to say, oh, but I'm happy in Harlem. I want to be in Harlem. No, Harlem, girl, you wanted to move to the island. You was only there for 2 seconds.
She was inspired by
By that
by
lady
the
making
cook.
that fish. Girl.
What do you think about her move to Ghana and Harper's response?
He just seemed. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't want.
I mean, that's
Gosh,
far. That I mean, Ghana's far.
far,
It's not like you moving
far,
to New Jersey
far, far.
or even
I
California.
mean,
Like that. It's far.
I, I, I understand the hesitation, but Robin moved to Harlem. She was living in Chicago.
Oh yeah, she was.
Now the move from Chicago to New York is not the same. It's not the same. Um, but I don't
What?
know because Harper done left this girl for like 3 damn episodes off writing that fucking book.
True. He was never around. So it's like, what am I gonna do? Just be here and you not be here?
Well, do you think that she could have gone off to Ghana and like stayed there for a while and just had two homes? Like we have a home in Ghana, we have a home in Harlem. Sometimes Robin goes off and she spends time in Ghana.
She's not leaving
Does that
Mia.
make sense? Like you
She's not
can't run.
leaving. She's not leaving Mia. Mia's going with her.
Bring Mia with you.
No, but then Harper, that's his book. He would have
But
been.
what I'm saying is like why y'all can't do like all right, we spend our winters in Ghana and then we back, we do the rest of the seasons in Harlem.
You think Harper would have did that?
No,
Exactly.
I don't. I don't. But I'm just saying like I get his like but it's like he was like just shut it down. No. No. You know what I'm saying? He could have like come on, like the girl want to move to Ghana. You never know. She might get to Ghana and be like, I don't want to be. I miss Harlem
I don't know. I watch a lot of YouTube about women who move to Ghana with kids. Like
and
I've
never
been on this.
return.
I've been on these channels for the past couple years now, and they doing it. Some have moved back, but some are trying to go back again. Like it's a thing. Like it really is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I I think that moving to Ghana would have also forced Harper to put his family ahead of the
First.
friend group in a way that he is
Mm-hmm.
because they're so close. It's always like, you know,
These are
um
his friends and his people,
Jordan,
and
yeah, Jordan is a cab ride away and you can't do that in Ghana in a way. Like so maybe I don't know, maybe that was maybe that was a part of the reason why she wanted to move each time because before like I said before it was Ghana, it was that island. And
mm-hmm. I think she just
but
wanted to get away. I think she wanted an escape, and it's like I just need to be someplace warm, someplace where I feel refreshed and rejuvenated, and I can really live the life I want to live.
I think she wanted to get Harper away from Jordan. But I just needed for Jordan to get her ass
Could be.
beat.
Was Jordan okay? So is Jordan? So who's wrong with
Yeah.
the Harper Jordans? Who is wrong
Both of them, Harper and Jordan.
for for lollygagging after the movie premiere?
Come on now. Like, what the fuck is you doing? Why are you inviting this man back to your fucking house,
They
yo? When you
friends.
know what,
That's his best
girl,
friend.
if you do, Nicole, if you have a friend who is in love with you, but he's married to somebody else,
It's been like
and
it's been 15 years.
after Curry Gumbo done did their live show in Paris, I don't fucking know, and you inviting him back to your hotel and be like, Nicole, come on now, like what's going on?
It's been 15 years.
But they still liking on each other.
True.
Still, like that flame has never been extinguished.
Nope.
And so there's just a love, and you and my fucking, we having fucking reading clubs together. That's why I'm like, man, get the fuck, where your real friends at? Where your
Exactly.
real friends at? And I feel like half the shit that she went through in this movie, half the shit she went through in Love and Basketball, half the shit wouldn't have happened had she had real black girlfriends in her motherfucking life.
True. So now Lupin don't never had no friends.
Not one.
So
Not
why?
one.
So why you think Jordan and Harper never really got together? That's who they like.
Convenience.
Was Jordan too career
We
given?
in separate states. Like
No, but
there's
was
that.
was Jordan too career driven for Harper?
No, I don't think that was a problem for him at all. That would have been a problem for Lance. That wasn't a problem for him. I think that's he was attracted to that.
Mm.
I think that Harper is a writer, and sometimes I feel this way too. There's just like this fantasy that's always going on in my head.
Oh,
Just this fantasy, and I think that Jordan represents this
the
fantasy.
fantasy.
Is a part of this
Okay.
fantasy for him. And if we actually jump into that, then all of a sudden it's real, and
And
now
it's
it
not
can't become a
attractive
fantasy.
anymore.
It's not it and it
Ooh.
requires work. I think right
Mm.
now all it does is feel good. I think I've had crushes on men, and then all of a sudden they'll like ask me out, and I'm like, wait.
It's not part of the drink.
Like I oh, now I gotta do this now. And I would wake up like, oh my god, I got a boyfriend. Shit. What do I do? I gotta show him that I care. Like it just they like relationships one just never came naturally to me. Like I just don't know. You know who's a good person at Kalisha's a good person at relationships. She knows how to treat somebody. And I'm like Kalisha would just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna grab lunch for them too because I know that like they're getting off work, and I'm like, that's so what I would have never thought. I would have never thought to do it. Like I'm just like, what? You just know what to do. Like, oh, I'm gonna throw them this thing. Oh, they really need this, so I'm gonna get it. I'm like, man, she's good. Like, what do I do? How do I do it? Man, I don't know. So but with the crush in my head, I know what to do. Everything comes to me effortlessly, and it just feels good. It always feels good. So I don't know if he if taking it to the next level would ruin that for both of
Oh,
them.
okay.
I also think that we're in a little bit of a pickle now because I'm married and I chose this woman. I chose her. And now
Now you're stuck.
and if I think he's really evil, it's like I like kind of having two women at home.
Mm.
I like keeping Robin on her toes because she
Mm-hmm.
knows that Jordan is in love with me, and she knows
Damn, that's a
that
hard
we're
position to
friends.
be in. I don't know if I can. Oh, if you're married, but you know your husband has like this solid girlfriend that
Yeah,
he's
and I
loves.
And I think it's a difficult position for Jordan. I think she got a real tight rope to walk because she can never get into it with Robin ever. Because it's always gonna be, oh, they fighting over that nigga. That's what's
Oh
going on.
yeah.
But it could really be like, girl, yo fufu is trash. This is nasty. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you coming from my artistry, bitch? It's about that. But it's always gonna get turned into, this is about that man, that trash can man.
mm. Hmm.
I want Robin to find her group. Maybe that's what she's getting in Ghana. Them
Maybe.
women do not want to discuss that book. They don't. They don't want it. And you know they don't want
It's
it.
like read
And
the room, Robin.
they don't have the time. But you're trying to make your mark on this group, and it's just not, that's
It's not
not it.
working.
That's not it. And that's okay. Like there's some things that I'm like, I don't go to those friends about that. Like if I'm like, hey y'all, read this book of poetry, that's not y'all's thing. That's not y'all's thing. I don't go to y'all for that. I don't. You know, like there's some friends where I'm like I know that I'm not about to text Nicole about nothing white. Like,
It depends on
ooh,
what it is.
girl, you can cut it
I
out.
told you I
It
love
can
Emily in
be the
Paris.
most it could be the most like it could be like the most independent ass film that you could only see at a film festival, but it's black. It's like Nicole know about that. Nicole know
Hey,
about that, but Nicole don't know about like Breaking Bad. A very like Nicole don't know
never
about The
watched it.
Sopranos. It's
But
like,
those are
girl, you don't know
mainstream.
about this.
I love 500 Days of Summer was one of my favorite movies.
Okay,
It is. I love that movie.
okay. Have you seen Clueless?
Of course.
Okay.
Come on, a girl of the
Have you seen
90s?
Have you seen The Godfather?
No, I don't do violence.
Okay. Have you
Teen
seen Mamma
movies?
Mia?
No, because when I read the description, I was like, this looked like some trash. A girl
But it
who
has the name Mia in it.
I know, and then I'm like, it's about a girl who don't know who her daddy is, and she got to figure it out from three possibilities.
Have you seen Cruel Intentions?
No, because it looked scary. It looked dark.
Okay.
I don't do
It
dark
was
stuff.
dark. It wasn't scary though. It wasn't
It
scary.
just looked very dark, and I was like, I don't know about this.
Have you
And
seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Not to
no, I
spoil the
don't be
film.
doing no. There's a movie.
It's that's like the film is campy violence. It's not like, ooh,
Yeah, but I'm not into vampires like that and Vampire Diaries and all those other stuff. Like I'm not
I understand.
vampires is not gonna get me. Even
What
with
about
Game of
witches like The Craft and
No,
okay, okay. Well,
nope, that's not gonna get. I just watched Hocus Pocus. Well, Hocus Pocus 2, and I was still never saw the first one.
what? Hey y'all, hope you enjoyed the show. Hit us up on Instagram at Curry Gumbo. Hope to see you next week. Bye.